Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your host, TOV of the Can't Make This Up channel. Now, today we got a special one for you guys. We're going to be going over this woman right here. She made a short on YouTube that went so viral, basically saying why she didn't cook for her date upon his request, which after we watch this short, we're going to go over another video that she made about why she decided to cook for her next date, which she'll give us a good clue as to why that is, but you know how women are. There's some ridiculousness that is going to be highlighted that we're going to cover and we're going to touch on. So without further ado, guys, make sure you like and subscribe if you really enjoy the video. Make sure you comment too. Let people know your opinion. This is the whole point of the channel. We want to get the opinions out and channel, excuse me. But alrighty, without further ado, let's just get into it, man.
And he said, why don't I come? Hey, one time this guy asked me out on a date and he said, why don't I come to your area? Which is usually either a kind gesture or intentions to hook up, but it wasn't too long until he said, why don't you cook for us? I immediately got the ick from the audacity and lack of nunchi, so I canceled his ass right away and invited my lovely girlfriend instead and cooked us a delicious meal. Needless to say, he was removed from the roster. When it comes to online dating, which I have unfortunately 10 years of experience, my number one rule is to ruthlessly move on when I see a red flag in the first few dates, because 10 out of 10 times that red flag you were on the fence about will blow up on your face a few months down the line. Finding issues 6 months into a relationship, totally normal. Everyone's flawed and it takes time to get to know each other. But the ones you see in the first week? Hard pass. Even if you have to last minute cancel, girl, save that energy for someone else. I have so many dating stories thanks to the New York City online dating scene. What's the best advice you got for online dating? Let me know in the comments.
Now, there's multiple things that she just said that we can easily dissect to kind of get an actual clue as to why she's single. For the past 10 years, I mean, she stated she has been dating for 10 years, and she decides to give dating advice saying, the first week, if there's a red flag, then you gotta let that go. But after 6 months, if things aren't working out, then yeah, that's tolerable, guys. I would argue it's better to learn more about a person in the first coming weeks when you guys are knowing each other, getting to know each other. And what better way to do that than to hang out at your house, cook for each other, or, give each other time and not really have the kind of casual date of going out, having the dude pay, and then, again, there's so many dating stories that she has, and she goes on and cooks for her friend like it's entitlement. Well, why do you feel the need to cook for your friend right after? I mean, like, it's not that, it's not that you have to cook for him, but if he's willing to go out of his way to take you out on a date, which I'm sure he would have in the future, pay for things. Maybe he just wanted some, like, you wanted proof of your interest, and you failed. You failed the proof of interest, which then we'll get into the next video, which shows all the criteria in which, a guy needs to fulfill in order to get dinner cooked for her. And I think you're gonna realize why I decided to make this video in the first place.
Hey, remember I got the ick from the guy who asked me to cook on our date? So glad I moved on.
Oh yeah, by the way, I mean, if a girl uses the word ick, then you just gotta leave her.
Because the next guy that came along, he didn't even have to ask. He made me want to cook for him. And when I say cook, I'm packing us yubuchoba with 4 different toppings for a picnic that I planned, and he naturally brought it out of me when I consistently saw his green flags, like being respectful, funny, positive, generous, emotionally healthy, and hot. So lady.
You can't see it right now, but I'm blinking very sarcastically. And you wanna know why? Because how much do you want to bet the other guy was all of those, but the red flag came when he decided to ask, because God forbid, and you'll find this a lot with women, if you have to ask, then just don't in the first place. If you have to ask for intimacy, then don't, because you have to read her mind. You have to really think about what's going to tickle her buttons, what buttons you got to press in order for her to get to that point where she wants to, willingly do these things, which this guy just pressed the hot button. That's all you have to do. You just have to press the hot button. He naturally brought it out of me. You know how many guys talk about frame? You know how many guys talk about, natural feminine energy? Like, this is full display. Like, she wants to do everything to prove to this guy that she's interested, to prove to this guy that she's worth it. The last guy, if they were to go in a relationship, she would be unfulfilled. She would, you wonder why for 10 years. You wonder why for 10 years she's been out and about dating with no success. It's because when it comes to brutal honesty, they can't handle that. When it comes to brutal honesty, a lot of women do not want to accept that. So when a man is honest, when a man tells his woman that he wants consistent meals because he's going to provide in the future and probably, give her good morals and good standards to live by, then that's going too far. That's going way too out of line, because a lot of women, they don't like being told what to do. And then they do things out of spite of being told what to do. It's a never-ending cycle that a lot of women find themselves in up until they hit the wall, when they're 30, when they just it's a sad cycle to see. And I mean, is it really our fault? Not really. Is that the fault of men? No, because and you'll see why further into this video. Let's just keep it going.
Am I glad I saved my energy for this man? You bet I am. And I got a few cringy comments about something being wrong with me online dating for so long and being single. First of all, I wasn't single the whole time. Come on, guys. And second of all, your relationship status doesn't say anything about.
Yeah, it does. And yeah, you weren't single the whole time. All these women that say they're dating for all that time, they're not dating. They're getting pumped and dumped. The same way that's gonna happen right here.
You could be in a relationship and it could be toxic, boring, and you could even be married with a chance of divorce.
You notice how she lumped in toxic and boring immediately right next to each other? That's because most women find toxic relationships as boring. And there are toxic relationships that exist, but let's keep it 1,000 here. Come on. Most women just find the relationship boring, and then they find any single reason to dump that guy. They find any single reason to leave the relationship because there are no morals. There isn't any values nowadays. Why? Because there's too many women being raised by single mothers. And those mothers are telling them you should have these standards for a guy. When in reality, we're all human. We're all human. And I mean, humans need to feed themselves. That's the natural way of life. No matter what, a guy's going to feed himself. If he's alive, he's going to feed himself. That doesn't mean he needs you. He doesn't need you. None of these men need you. But what comes with a good woman is valuing that man, in a way that, shows that you want him to get taken care of. And what better way to take care of him than to meet all of his necessities that he's going to inevitably get in the end of the day, with or without you. But if you make his life that much easier, then of course he's going to want to do everything for you. It's like a dog. As much as we want to say we aren't animals, you can take dog training, for example. If you feed a dog all day long, you give it a couple pets, it's going to love you. That's kind of all you really need. But if you're giving this to a guy that doesn't really appreciate it, then And like obviously to a guy that can get something better, something hotter, something more adhering to his lifestyle, then yeah, they're going to take that over you, obviously. But a lot of women just don't get this. A lot of women just don't get this. Let's just keep going.
But guess what? Even if that marriage doesn't work out, it doesn't mean something's wrong with you. Are you creating a healthy and fun life for yourself with or without someone else? Does that look like breaking up, working it out, or dating around? The action you take in your single or not so single life, that's what defines you.
So, how does this whole thing define her? It defines her as a woman that only takes materialistic things to heart. The only thing she values is materialism. And what do I mean by materialism? She's objectifying men in a way. Like if we're gonna keep let's keep it real here. Like what is it when we decide to only give to a man when they provide a certain aspect of themselves that is not really let me try and put this in a better wording here. She only provides for a man when they show that they are outwardly appealing, not inwardly appealing, because I can 1,000% bet you that guy beforehand, he just wasn't that hot. He just wasn't hot enough to be demanding these kind of things from this woman. And it's a shame because, like many people in this kind of niche will say, and I'm just parroting off of, what I've heard and what I can tell myself is true because I want a kind of woman that appreciates these kind of sentiments as well. If you only are able to hook up with a guy and not get him to lock you down, then yes, there is something wrong. Because what you want is the commitment from him. What he's not giving you is the commitment. And you see she's like coping here a little bit because oh, it's about what you do when you're single and not single. Like, yeah. So, how does it define you that you only appreciate the outward appearance of a man? But when it comes to the inward appearance, which, yeah, you like to say, like, oh, yeah, like, he has good personality, he's very nice, we're going to have a picnic, all that, blah, 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 blah. I can 1,000% bet you that picnic is not going to be far from your home. After you guys are done eating, which, yeah, like, okay, like, I'm just saying they probably hooked up. And I can go back and prove that they're not dating anymore. It was probably just a hookup. It was probably just a guy, getting in the pants and then dipping out. And she's going to cope with, oh, it didn't work out. But I've been doing this for so long. That I already know the outcome. And because, she's been doing this for so long. 10 years, and she's giving you advice. She's giving you advice. Like, come on. If she really knew how to hold a guy down for commitment, then she would not be on TikTok telling you advice. She would not be on TikTok, being single all over the place. And they'll cope by saying, like, oh, it's my choice to be single. No, it ain't. That's all I gotta say. No, it ain't. I've been doing this for too long for it to be all this like perfect sunshine and roses scenario. Like it's not like that. It's not like that. And these type of women, they don't deserve sympathy. They really don't. But what can I do? What can we do as a collective whole? But all we can do as men is take responsibility for who we choose. And responsibility for who we decide comes into our lives. And unfortunately, she's going to turn 30. It's going to be that never-ending cycle of single mom or, unhappy relationship or marriage, and then inevitably ending up in divorce. Why? Because women they divorce more frequently, obviously. We've all heard this statistic. But in the end, we'll never find out if it's really a men's fault or a woman's fault, because none of the studies are going to go against or oppose what women deem is acceptable. And that's just the way it is. We live in a gynocentric society. We live in a society that only values the feminine and not the masculine, which is ironic because, they fight so hard for feminism. They fight so hard for equal rights, and they have it, and they have it way beyond what they need. But we don't have a society that values family or anything like that, which is why she takes offense to, oh yeah, cook for me, please. But no, it's just not on her. It has to be in her way. Everything has to be her way. You understand that. Nowadays, we live in a world where a lot of women are narcissists, in a way where a guy asks for one singular thing, it can't happen because it has to be her way. So let me know what you guys think about this video. Let me know what you guys think about this woman. Is she wrong? Is she right? Is she right for not wanting to cook for that first guy? You guys tell me, because I'm pretty firm in my beliefs. But I'd love to hear what everybody else has to think. No matter what, if you're opposing me, I don't care. Just tell me why. Give me some reasons. Give me some valid reasons. And if you like the video, go ahead, like the video, subscribe. This is a brand new channel. I'm trying to bring out a different opinion than most. Hope you guys have a good day. My name's Theo V, and I'll be seeing you guys on the next video. Peace.